Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life one summary at a time. Today, we're diving deep into Kate Crawford's Atlas of AI, Power, Politics, and the Planetary Costs of Artificial Intelligence. This isn't your typical tech book. It's a sweeping, almost anthropological exploration of how AI is made, not just the algorithms themselves. Get ready for a journey, because this book takes us from lithium mines to Amazon warehouses, from the servers humming in data centers to the ethical dilemmas embedded in facial recognition software. Crawford starts by telling the story of Clever Hans, a horse in the late 19th century that seemingly could perform complex mathematical calculations. It turned out Hans wasn't actually intelligent. He was subtly picking up cues from his questioners. This serves as a crucial cautionary tale for AI, highlighting the dangers of anthropomorphism and the potential for biases to creep into systems, even those that appear highly successful. We might think we're creating intelligence, but we're often just creating systems that reflect our own biases and expectations. The core argument of Atlas of AI is that AI is neither artificial nor intelligent in the way we commonly understand those terms. It's a deeply material and embodied system, reliant on vast amounts of physical resources, human labor, and existing power structures. Crawford challenges the dominant narrative that AI is a purely technical domain, arguing that it's fundamentally political. The book uses the metaphor of an atlas to explore the multifaceted landscape of AI's creation, examining its various components at different scales. Chapter 1. Earth plunges us into the world of mineral extraction. Crawford takes us to the lithium mines of Nevada, showcasing the literal extraction of materials essential for powering AI systems, from smartphones to electric cars. The environmental costs are staggering: the depletion of rare earth minerals, the creation of toxic wastelands, and the damage to local communities. She points out that these costs are rarely factored into the price of technology, leading to a gross undervaluing of the environment and the human cost. The book explores how this move fast and break things mentality, similar to what we see in the tech industry today, has historical roots in the 19th century gold rush and the ruthless exploitation of natural resources. This isn't just about lithium. The extraction of numerous other rare earth elements, often from conflict zones, contributes significantly to the environmental and social costs of AI. The energy consumption needed to power data centers and train AI models is also enormous, approaching that of the aviation industry, and is often powered by fossil fuels, negating some of the supposed benefits of AI. Moving on, Chapter 2, Labor explores the human side of AI. The book highlights the invisible labor behind AI, often performed by underpaid workers in precarious conditions. Crawford takes us inside Amazon warehouses, where workers must keep pace with the relentless demands of automated systems, suffering injuries and high stress levels. This highlights the tension between human labor and automation, with humans often relegated to the more tedious and less valued tasks. The chapter also explores the historical context, tracing the development of workplace automation from the Industrial Revolution through Taylorism and Fordism to the rise of algorithmic management. The relentless tracking and optimization of workers' time, down to the second, are exemplified by examples in fast food restaurants and other industries. Google's True Time, a proprietary time synchronization protocol, is presented as an example of how companies are attempting to control time at a planetary scale. The book then contrasts this highly controlled environment with the organizing efforts of workers pushing back against these exploitative conditions, demonstrating that this is not a settled future. Chapter 3, Data, examines the role of data in AI. Crawford uses the disturbing example of NIST's mugshot databases, highlighting how personal images, often capturing moments of vulnerability and distress, are used as training data for facial recognition systems. This is not merely a privacy issue, but also an example of a broader trend in AI: the idea that everything is data, and data is there for the taking. The chapter explores how this perspective has led to the mass extraction of data from the internet and other sources, often without consent. The book highlights the problematic notion of ground truth in machine learning, where the training data itself may reflect existing biases and inequalities. The chapter discusses how the reliance on large datasets has led to a shift from context to data, from meaning to statistical pattern recognition. The book also explores the ethical, methodological, and epistemological implications of this approach. It is argued that there is a lack of standardized practices for acknowledging the origin and acquisition of data, leading to the perpetuation of biases. Chapter 4, Classification, explores the ways AI systems categorize the world. Starting with Samuel Morton's 19th-century craniometric studies, Crawford demonstrates the historical link between classification systems and power structures. The book uses the ImageNet dataset as a case study, showing how its classification scheme reflects and reinforces existing social hierarchies. Crawford points out the problematic nature of classifying people based on race, gender, and other social categories, and the potential for this to perpetuate discrimination. The chapter criticizes attempts to debias AI systems by simply adjusting algorithms or diversifying datasets, arguing that this often fails to address the underlying power dynamics. The author highlights the looping effect. Classification systems not only reflect existing inequalities, but also actively shape and reinforce them. The chapter also examines the inherent political nature of classification, arguing that seemingly neutral categories can embody significant social and political biases. Chapter 5, Affect, explores the use of AI to detect emotions. The chapter traces the history of affect recognition, starting with Paul Ekman's controversial research on universal emotional expressions. Crawford critiques the underlying assumptions of this work, highlighting the limitations of inferring internal emotional states from external facial cues. She examines the commercial applications of affect recognition, particularly in hiring and surveillance, and the ethical concerns these raise. The chapter examines how the field of affect recognition has relied upon problematic methodological and epistemological foundations. Crawford argues that despite the lack of scientific evidence supporting the accuracy of affect recognition, its use in high-stakes decisions poses considerable ethical risks. In Chapter 6, State, Crawford examines the role of AI in state power. She draws on the Snowden archive to illustrate how the intelligence community has been involved in the development of AI technologies, often for surveillance and military purposes. The chapter explores the third offset strategy of the U.S. military and the growing collaboration between the tech sector and the military, particularly concerning the development of AI for warfare. The book then discusses how AI-powered surveillance technologies are being used by law enforcement and other government agencies. Crawford highlights the blurring of lines between the public and private sectors in the area of surveillance, with private companies providing technologies that have significant implications for civil liberties. The chapter also examines the use of AI in social welfare systems, showing how it can reinforce existing inequalities. The book argues that the use of AI by the state creates a significant need for accountability mechanisms to prevent harm and to limit the expansion of extractive and extra-state systems of control. The conclusion of Atlas of AI emphasizes the need to move beyond the simplistic narratives of AI as either a utopian solution or a dystopian threat. Crawford argues that AI systems are fundamentally shaped by the power structures they operate within and are designed to serve the interests of those who control them. She calls for a critical examination of the environmental, labor, and ethical costs of AI, and for a shift in focus from mere technical fixes to addressing the underlying power dynamics. She argues against the idea that AI can be simply democratized and proposes that challenging the existing power structures is necessary for creating a more just and equitable future. This involves connecting movements for climate justice, labor rights, racial justice, and data protection to challenge the extractive logics of AI. The coda Space explores the ambitions of tech billionaires to colonize space. This vision, according to Crawford, reflects a continued commitment to extractive practices, rather than confronting the limits of Earth's resources and the need for sustainability. The author contrasts this vision with the warnings issued decades ago by the Club of Rome in The Limits to Growth. She argues that the pursuit of space colonization may be a distraction from the urgent need to address the problems of resource depletion and inequality on Earth. The book concludes with a powerful call to action, urging us to confront the political and economic forces driving the development of AI and to work towards a more just and sustainable future. So, what are the key takeaways from Atlas of AI? Crawford's work offers a powerful counter-narrative to the often overly optimistic or fear-mongering discussions surrounding artificial intelligence. It emphasizes the crucial importance of understanding AI as a deeply material system, interconnected with a multitude of social, political, and environmental factors. AI is not neutral. It reflects and reinforces existing power structures, biases, and inequalities. AI is not disembodied. It relies on vast amounts of physical resources, human labor, and global supply chains. AI is not inevitable. We have agency to shape its development and deployment. We need connected movements for justice. Addressing the challenges posed by AI requires a multi-pronged approach involving labor rights, environmental protection, data privacy, and racial justice. Atlas of AI isn't a light read, but it's a crucial one. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truths about the creation and deployment of artificial intelligence, urging us to consider its broader implications and to demand a more just and sustainable future. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.